Tell me rumble man, you know I'm always hungry. We in the jungle, only lions, no monkeys. Only hustle and we are moving the plan before the huddle. Bitches buy the bottle, price ain't combo, yeah, we hungry. Yeah, baby, yeah, we hungry. Yeah, baby, yeah, we hungry. Yeah, baby, yeah, we hungry. Definition.
I bet y'all thought I was playing when I posted that we gonna be doing this, that this was gonna be happening. Welcome everybody to Royal Comics. I'm glad y'all are here, man. It's been a long time coming. Obviously, I've had a lot of people talk about the stuff in the background, and I've had my boys be like, boy, when are you ever going to do a comics reaction channel? Because that's what you need to be doing. And I was just like, you know what? You right. But anyway, enough about that. Welcome everybody to Royal Comics. For those of you who do not know anything about Royal Comics, so that should be you. That should be all of you. But we are here to take this journey to basically just learn more about any and every comic, superhero, anime, whatever you may like, whether it is movies, straight magna, or if it is just straight book that maybe I've never even read before or I've even seen before, a TV show. It doesn't even matter what it is. I'm definitely interested in any and everything and learning anything and everything. Definitely, if you have stuff, you are more than welcome to either DM me. I have my email in my bio on YouTube. Also, check out the Facebook group, Royal Comics. We just started this, so I'm going to be trying to upload every Friday at 8 p.m. Don't at me, because I'm going to be trying. We're going to try to like double up on the posts as well. But yeah, man, I'm super excited. This week we are going to be doing Hit Monkey, so let's get to it. But shout out the man, Mr. Comics Explained himself, Mr. Rob. I appreciate you, man. I've been studying in your dojo for quite some time. I thought it's about time to put that stuff to video, but shout out that man. I'm pretty sure he is the GOAT of just explaining things. If he just went ahead and explained to me anything in life, I'm pretty sure I would get it. Just like that. I just need him to explain stuff to me. I don't know what it is. All the teachers in school, no offense to you, but you're trash compared to the GOAT, okay? But this week, we are learning about Mr. Hit Monkey himself. Bro, if y'all don't know, they have a series up on Hulu already with Jason Sudeikis, whatever his name is. But it's pretty good, man. I just watched it through and through, and it got me hooked enough to actually want to watch anything and learn anything about Hit Monkey. So I thought, why not kick the first episode off with, learning more about Hit Monkey, start this journey off right, But without further ado, let's listen to this.
This is Rob, and for quite some time, you guys have been asking me to cover Hit Monkey, and I figured, why not, right? Might as well. I have no idea how this video is going to do. I don't know if this video is going to blow up. I don't know if it's just if no one's going to care, and it's just going to get like no views at all. Honestly, I'm kind of curious myself. I'm a little bit afraid it's going to be the latter. But here's the thing. So Hit Monkey was written by Daniel Way. And for those of you guys who are unfamiliar with Daniel Way, he's done a lot of stuff over the years, like Wolverine Origins, different things like that. Deadpool, he had a classic run on that. So it's no surprise that Hit Monkey would actually go on to appear as part of the Mercs for Money series featuring Deadpool and like a whole bunch of other characters. But what this does is this initially opens up with what's basically just an assassin. Now, there's not a lot going on here in terms of the way a comic's traditionally written, which is to say lots of speech bubbles and different things like that. It's really more narration that gives us the gist of what's happening here. But by whatever manner and whatever means, this guy had risen to prominence as becoming one of the best assassins to have ever arrived seemingly in Asia. And because of the fact that he was hired to basically partake in a coup, that his treachery as it was perceived in the failed coup marked him for death. And so the result of this is he seemingly has the military out for him almost constantly. Now the result of this is that he actually tries to bribe them, right? He gives them as much money as he has on him and says like, this money will be more than you could ever make in a lifetime. And of course, corruption reigning supreme here, they take the money.
Okay, so what I'm getting from this, like if you've already seen the actual series, it kind of follows like suit for everything that he is saying and the backstory of it. I'll give a little bit. I don't want to like spoil a lot, but basically, uh, there's this assassin and he assassinates a very high prominent person in Japan. And I don't know if it follows that line, but it starts off with Jason Sudeikis, who will be that hitman.
And then they intend to kill him anyway. Of course, he's able to make his escape by basically blowing up their vehicle, shoots the plates up, and then essentially flees. Now, the funny thing about this is that it seems as though his desire to flee is really more escaping the city itself or the country itself, as opposed to simply escaping just the local geographic area. Once he flees, he basically ends up taking to the mountains and makes it for about 4 days. And then after those 4 days, he essentially just collapses, right? And he doesn't necessarily die. And the reason why is because he's actually saved by monkeys and he's brought to hot springs, and the monkeys themselves actually start to nurture him back to health, which is kind of a crazy thing. One of the things that's kind of hit on here, and Daniel Way doesn't really say it so on the nose, but one of the things that's kind of indicated here is that these monkeys seemingly, I wouldn't say have a rapport with humanity, but seem to have maybe some basic, empathic connection. Or it could simply just be that the nature of them as monkeys, or at least as that particular part of the tribe, is to help things, right? It's one of the things you kind of run into when it comes to comic books as a whole, and I wouldn't even really say anything involving the written word, but basically this idea that you kind of have to have a good guy and a bad guy, right? Like for Americans, for example, we need good guys and bad guys, right? We can't really function in a world where there are no guaranteed good guys and guaranteed bad guys. We basically just kind of fall apart. Our ability to discern right from wrong just begins to kind of break down at that point, and then our understanding of the world goes with it, and then we basically just end up losing our minds. And so in comics, you oftentimes see the introduction of what we would call a good guy, even though they're not really good guys per se. They're just kind of there doing a thing. So while we're not really given any true motivation behind why these monkeys do this, what we are told is there is a kind of gentle nature behind them, right? That the hot springs had chased away the frigid specter of death, as it's described, and the herbal remedies offered to him would heal his wounds. And for reasons that we cannot know, these monkeys had allowed the assassin into their clan. So again, we're not really given an explanation here in terms of why this happened. We're simply just told that it did. But where most all the monkeys in this tribe welcomed this guy in with open arms, one of them absolutely hated him. Now, it's kind of crazy because without the ability to...
Bro, it's true. It's true, though. This monkey absolutely hated him when he gets here. Yeah, I'll let him finish it up, but he absolutely hated him when he got there.
Speak to one another. The best this guy can do is make haphazard guesses. And one of the things, or really a couple things that he comes to is that one, this monkey might seem to have some kind of understanding, right? Be able to pick up on some kind of scent that this guy has done some pretty nefarious stuff, and that he'll ultimately bring death and destruction down on them, or that the blood that's on his hands is not necessarily his own. It's as much metaphysical as it is physical, right? That it's almost kind of hitting on this idea that this monkey might have like a sixth sense, like this guy's not everything that we think he is, and if we let him stay here, we're inviting death to our tribe, and it will culminate in ultimately all of us being doomed. The problem with this, at least as far as this assassin goes, is that he recognizes there's a high likelihood of that. Now, it looks as though a kind of rapport is being established between the two, right? Between the monkeys and the man himself, in the sense that he begins to care for them in the same way they begin to care for him. And so what he does is every day he goes out to the ledge and basically looks out to see if anybody's trying to track him down, if anybody's trying to find him. And if they are, then of course the answer is to get out of there as fast as you can, possibly even warn the monkeys as well. And so ultimately, because of the fact that he's simply recovering here, the ammunition for his weapons is virtually non-existent. Instead, he goes back to training in the old ways, right? Basically training in martial arts. And in doing this, building up snowmen and honing his skills, making sure they stay strong, this monkey that had hated him so much is watching the whole thing happen. And that's when this guy turns around and says, like, I know you're watching me and I know you don't trust me, and you're wise to distrust me, right? You are wise not to trust me, to believe that what I will do is bring death and destruction to your doorstep. And the reality is that's what he does, right? He's an assassin. His job is to kill people. But as with the life of an assassin, you make enemies, and it's only a matter of time before those enemies come hunting for you, and then most likely eventually find you. And as you guys have probably picked up, whether it's through just reading in general or the various comics you read and so on, assassins don't really care who gets caught in collateral damage so long as it's not anybody personal to them, right? So showing up here and then killing killing this guy and then mowing down all these monkeys would not really be a huge deal for them, right? They're simply just fulfilling a contract. It's just business as usual. And so the result of this is that where the assassin walks away, the monkey actually stays and starts practicing the kind of things that it saw this guy doing, right? Monkey see, monkey do, that sort of a thing. Now, whether or not this monkey fully understands what it's doing is...
What's crazy to me is like how like quick this monkey picked up on the actual martial arts. Like if you watch the actual thing, like this boy, it's not like this boy took like, you know, 5 years or 5 months or 5 weeks or 5 days. This boy literally saw this boy and it just, you know, what you say? What did you say to me? Like literally, and did all these moves, did a roundhouse spin kick, you know, did a front flip, and then like did every move that you could possibly see in the movies. Okay, but sorry, I'm just got out of mixed martial arts class, you know, my MMA classes, just feeling a little hype. But this monkey is like a double black belt, like a quadruple double black belt. It makes no sense.
It's not something that's really given to us here, but as time began to progress and the winter began to become colder and far more extreme, this guy began to become sicker and sicker, right? His health started deteriorating. And that where the other monkeys had tried to attain various herbs and remedies and things like that, that would help this guy make it through the winter so he could essentially make it out of the mountains and then to some measure of safety, that the one monkey that hates him won't let them do it. And in fact, he snatches up all the herbs and all that kind of stuff. And then in an attempt to display what this guy is, that he's a violent person, that he does violent things, that what he's going to do is bring death and destruction upon their village, that he actually starts assaulting the other monkeys using what he's learned. Now, the message, of course, that he was trying to communicate is this is what will happen to us if we keep this guy here. Instead, the message he actually ends up communicating is he's basically gone crazy. And that's the nature of what happens when it comes to violence. I mean, yes, violence is an answer and violence usually does solve most problems. It can also create problems, and that's what it does here, right? It creates a problem here insofar as they misinterpret his message. And that's usually what happens with violence, right? It's one of the things you have to learn to expect when it comes to using violence is like some people will misinterpret your message, which is why you have to make sure that your violence is done in such a way to where most people will agree with why you're doing it, right? So make your message first and then engage in violence later. But the thing about this is if you look at any major calamity that's happened, right? Timothy McVeigh, like Waco, Ruby Ridge, things like that, regardless of what side you were on, violence overrules any message anybody would have had because they deliver their message after the fact. And that's what really happens here, right? This guy starts to freak out, they start panicking, and they basically cast him out of the tribe. And so being removed from this situation, right? Being put out there and forced to survive on his own, right? He's described as being cold, starving, and alone. He sees these assassins.
This moment is like the most sad moment though. Like with all the camera angles and everything, it's like one of the most sad moments. Like people basically show up. Basically what he's been predicting all along comes true. It's so sad.
Coming, right? These soldiers who are coming for this one guy. And where he does race back as fast as he can and he tries to get there, tries to warn everybody, the assassins are already there. And so as the two of them look at each other, there's this kind of shared message between the two, right? Like, yes, I'm sorry, like they were coming for me. I brought this on you. You were right, right? You were right when you said that me being here would lead to nothing more than death and destruction for me and your people. There's nothing more for me to say here. But the only thing he does say is, I will live on, right? Kind of a shared message that this monkey had picked up on.
Wait a minute, why does that say Buddha, 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 Buddha? What gun, what gun is saying Buddha, 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 Buddha? It sounded like that Bubba Sparks song, Buddha, 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 right in it. Like, what gun? Buddha, 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 Buddha. I'm gonna start using that sound whenever I'm making gun sounds now. Buddha, 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 Buddha.
Everything this guy had taught him, even though he hadn't necessarily taught him intentionally, and then basically spray this guy down and kill him in the hot springs. From there, the monkeys, of course, end up attacking the assassins, and the assassins in turn spray down all the monkeys. And so this one guy is the only one left, and this dude gets pissed, right? Like they refer to it as like a filthy, simple beast, right? They go to shoot him, and then in turn, this guy gets his whole like face blown off, right? Like the whole back of his head, like the front of his face gets blown off from behind, and like Hit Monkey's standing there with like a 9 9mm, right? And like just pulling guns out of this bag, right? And just like spraying these guys down and using a combination of like guns and hand-to-hand combat to overcome all these guys.
Insane.
With some of the most ridiculous maneuvers, I might add. This looks like something out of Equilibrium, if you guys ever saw it. If you never saw that movie with Christian Bale and Taye Diggs and Sean Pertwee, it's amazing, right? Like that movie is phenomenal. I loved Equilibrium. This monkey manages to take out seemingly everybody, right? Gathers his guns and says that like the home he had so long to return to was gone, right? His tribe was gone. All that was left was to avenge them. And so it's like, and thus the legend was born, a killer of killers, forever to be known as Hit Monkey. This guy, like what he does following this, dude, it's just like, it's a bloodbath, man. Like it's an absolute trail of massacre. But this is the one-shot comic, the origin of Hit Monkey. You guys have been asking for it. I figured I'd cover it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you all later.
Peace. Thank you, Mr. Rob. Like I said, the GOAT of just explaining things, but we're going to be seeing a lot more, hearing a lot more of, you know, the legend himself. But as for Hit Monkey, man, let me tell you. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and I'll say exactly what the show on Hulu is a little bit. I'll explain a little bit more about it. So Hit Monkey, so there was a couple things like in that origin story that he was saying that pretty much doesn't go as planned as to, or as on script as what he just said. But for the most part, it's correct that the assassin basically assassinated somebody in Japan. He basically gets injured. He goes all the way out to the mountains, and there's this tribe of monkeys. And these tribe of monkeys pretty much do exactly what he just said. They help him out. And what happens is all along, Hit Monkey is pretty much telling the tribe, he's like, man, I don't get why you guys are trying to help this guy. Like, he's literally bringing all these killers. They're probably here at this moment. They're probably knocking on the door right now. They're probably here to murder every one of us. And in the process, he looks extremely crazy. And people start making fun of him. Like, the monkeys start making fun of him. Like, oh my God, he's crazy. He's crazy. And what ends up happening is he does, you know, get a little upset, you know, thinking that they're teasing him and nobody's taking him serious. And he ends up just resorting to violence and just in, I think he like beats a monkey so bad, like he's bleeding, and he might have dislocated like their jaw or something. But everybody's looking at him like, man, maybe he is crazy, you know, like I don't know what to say. Like everybody just believes the hype that he is crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's hallucinating. And they shun him. They kick him out of the tribe. Now he comes back because he sees that their killers were on their way, but it was too late. By the time they got there, they murdered the whole tribe. And then he does, like I said, like he did all these mixed martial arts moves, stuff that he just picked up from seeing this dude one time, which was insane. And then, but here's the part that they did not mention. Maybe it's because you got to read more. Maybe you got to go and look up some more Hit Monkey comics. But Jason Sudeikis, who actually was the hit guy, they end up murdering him last. And then what happens is, since him and Hit Monkey bonded, the original Hitman and the monkey bonded at some point because they're both technically, you know, or they're both technically shuns. They're basically loners, lone wolves. And since they're both bonded on a level, the ghost of the Hitman becomes the ghost that follows Hit Monkey around. And throughout the whole time, Hit Monkey's trying to figure out who ordered the hit on the Hitman, and basically keeps following leads and leads until he finally finds out who ordered it. And I'm not going to tell you the rest, but that's pretty much it follows suit with everything that was going on. This is just the origin story, the simple small comic that happened. But let me know down in the comments what you guys thought about the actual episode. Like I said, first episode of Royal Comics. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate all the love from my kings and queens. Check out the store, Cheno Royal store, for all the Royal comic merch. Let's try running this up, man. First goal is 1,000 subscribers. That's what I'm shooting for. At least before my birthday, May. I think we can do it before May. 1,000 subscribers. Let me know down in the comments. Shoot me any comments you guys would like me to react to, whether it's movies, TV shows, anime, anything. Just let me know what you guys would like to see. Like I said, I appreciate you. This is Cheno Royal signing out. Dude.